Gabriel, good to see you.
Morning.
Why don't you tell everybody your name, company, and tell them a little bit more about what you're going to talk about this morning.
All right, I'm Gabriel Karam from Performics, and we are a digital agency. We're part of Zenith Group. We are here in Kuwait, and I'm going to talk about digital consumer touch points, journey focus more. So it's an omni-channel focusing on end-to-end experience that we want to discuss about the client.
Fantastic. And we're just going to get your slides up behind you. So what have you enjoyed most about MASHUP over the last day and a bit?
It's the type of information, the audience, the clients, the interest, and the focus on digital mainly. So we can see a good transformation happening from all clients.
Fantastic. Excellent. So we're just waiting for your slides here. You can just do that. So tell me, Gabriel, of all the yesterday's sessions, which one did you enjoy the most? Because I know you were sitting watching. I was looking at you.
All of them, to be frank. Everyone were interesting. Each one has a different twist, different information that we took out with us.
Fantastic. And of all of the different digital channels that we've been talking about, what has been your favorite to discuss?
It's something that I'll discuss also today. It's about the convergence between physical and digital world. So how can we utilize the physical and digital world together?
Excellent. Good, good. I will leave the stage to you. We will get your slides up in just a second.
All right.
And
thank you.
Take care. Okay.
So hi again. And as I recapped, I'm going to be discussing on how to help you transform from a touch point this planning into a end-to-end journey using an omni-channel. So let me start quickly just telling you what we do. So my friends actually think that I party every day. That's what people think about me. And clients think is, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just aiming high. And the other aspect is my vendors and suppliers think I'm Mr. Scrooge, so I sit on a lot of money to help them grow. And if I look at my parents, and this is the funny thing, is they don't understand what I do till now. Despite 10 years, I'm trying to explain to them what I actually do. They don't know what I do. What I think I do is the funny aspect. I own the media world. But actually what we do is we run everything into Excel. But to be frank, that's not accurate. What we do is we focus into planning and insights, something that we really need to understand about the consumer behavior and drive content that really matters from performance side and according to media side. Of course, after looking into the media performance, you need to have a good analytical understanding. So this is why we go head-to-head with analytics and reporting. In the end, we also provide a full consultancy on all aspects from digital perspective. That said, the Internet of Things has driven a more complex consumer journey. Every client, the questions has in mind, every marketeer has a question in mind. When, where, why does the consumer buy? And this is something that really he tries to decipher as the complexity of the journey gets more and more because of the multi-device. So also simplification is required to ensure that the journey is continuous, requires continuous improvement. Also, mastery of this data, of the journey, is through data. You need to collect the right data and the right information to ensure that you always are managing the conversion between the physical and the digital world. If we look at the consumer journey that we follow in Zenith, and this is something we adopt for our client to help them maximize their return on investment in media, we can see clearly that the decision points are very complicated and tough. And each decision point is complex and is a battleground by itself between us and the competitors. Also, in order to win these decision points, we need to focus at each decision point and match the intent of the customer to really understand what he's looking for. So if we look at an omni-channel, and when we say omni-channel, we mean that it's a continuous experience from end to end. It shouldn't be disconnected, regardless of the platform, whether it's online, whether it's offline, whether it's through web or through mobile. It's all integrated. Let me give you an example of a bank, for example. So the user can be the same guy going to an ATM, depositing money or subscribing money, or depositing money. He can also be the same guy going to the Facebook, liking a specific promotion or giving a feedback on Facebook. He can be also the same one reaping out the rewards, replacing rewards to buy something. He can also be shopping online. So imagine all these type of information. We need to centralize all these type of information into one place and build on it for future experiences for our customers. That said, we don't need to collect all data. A lot of data might be misleading and can lead us to a lot of unnecessary information. And this can lead us to data pollution. And we have seen it recently where all clients, and most of the time, they try to collect as much as they can information and data. And this data becomes noisy, and you cannot build on it. This becomes an obstacle for us. Looking at our clients and advertisers in Kuwait and in the region, we have seen that clients either sit on too many data or too little data that is not integrated in one place. So this is something that you cannot build on facts. So these facts you cannot build, you cannot utilize. This leads us to a less understanding of the consumer intent. So we don't understand what exactly they're looking for. And this, however, in the end, leads no facts, no understanding of the consumer, leads us to a discontinuity of the experience and a disconnection among it. The funny thing is companies and all marketeers believe this is something important for them. And we can see 67% believe that they need to invest in an omni-channel experience for their customers. However, little invest. And this is something that they really, we've investigated to understand why, and we can see that they lack three main aspects. So the first aspect is the lack of appropriate tools and technologies. So if we look at the tools, it's not a ready-made tool. It's not out of the shelf. It's not something that you can pick up and use immediately. It is something that you have to work across all different departments. All stakeholders need to work on it and agree on what to collect. Also, we've realized that the available media options are not utilized. So for example, as simple as using your first-party data. For example, your first-party data is your website data. How many people come to your website? What do they do? What have they downloaded? What are the interactions they have done? If you use this and utilize for your retargeting, this is something of the first step that you can tap on. Also, as we've discussed previously, is lack of addressable data source. So data pollution, collecting too many data have led people to a noisy data. So they are lost on what they need to focus on, what needs to be addressed. So this is something we have to discuss and see how can we tap on. If we look at retails in Kuwait, most of them don't focus on online. They focus on their physical store. Despite for a fact, physical and digital converge. And this is some of the stats that shows that 72% of the people who prefer buying offline also prefer buying online. And also, we know for a fact that 72% do search online before going to any store offline. Yeah? So how can we start this omni-channel? How can we build this omni-channel? I will share with you three main aspects that you need to look into in order to start setting up your omni-channel. So the first one is to uncover an intent. Second is to really build a map of digital maturity that you have and integrate it in one place. Third is really to build a bridge between the offline and the online experience that you have across all platforms. So when we cover intent, it's actually looking at integrating all sources of data into one place and establishing and looking at data that matters. What we want to do is we want to focus on facts. These facts are simple. You already have them. So again, we'll go back to a retail shop. Every retail shop has a Facebook page, or knows at least who are the customers who comes to his shop. He knows the average age, he knows the average transaction, he understands what they like, what don't they like, what are they searching on Facebook, what did they like, what did they comment on. So if we integrate all this information, we'll have enough data to build a fact and understanding. So after building the right data and understanding this data, we can uncover an intent. And when we say an intent, it's we understand what are the points that really matter for the customers at this instant of time. And eventually, once we have the understanding, we can then customize the experience for these people. So whether it's through web, whether through mobile, whether through even newsletters, you don't have to send the same newsletter for everyone. It can be customized based on their need. The experience that happens for them needs to be customized based on what they actually are looking for. So looking at the process, these are three-step process that we follow. What I'm trying to show over here is the data that we collect is not something that we only own. It's available everywhere. So if we look at sources of data, it's research. Yeah, and bench tools, which is a proprietary tool that we use to help understand what the search is happening across our competitors, us and the competitors, and social tools is also like a listening tool. So eMarketer, Forrester, you already have some information that you can start collecting in order to have an output, a brief, a KPI, a direction that you need to focus on, a content audit that you can take to the next level. Then at the next level, you start focusing on refining your intent. What are they looking for? And this can be done through Google Analytics, your CRM data, your YouTube Analytics. All this information can then help you create an output. But in the end, what you need to focus on mainly is actually how can you refine and optimize your campaign. There is no one way of doing things. You always have to refine your findings. So if we look at mapping digital maturity, there is 4 main elements that we want to focus on. It's your business intelligence. And when we say your business intelligence, it's unifying all your reports into one single place. So you can see the omni-channel reporting from one single place. You can't have different reports in different places. You have to aggregate them all in one place. And if we look at the audience-centric advertising, it's not about only personalization. It's about how can you link your CRMs into a data management platforms in order to have a hyper-relevant experience among your consumer journey. Also, predictive analysis. You know your customers. You know when they buy, what time they buy, what makes them buy, what triggers them to buy. So if you fill all this information and build on it, it can help you build a direction and communication. And when we say fully attributed media, we have to focus on not the media mix, but what media really gives you the best return for your investment at this specific instance of time. Looking at the mapping, I know it's a bit complex, but I'll summarize it. You need to align your business goal with a tangible KPIs. And when we say tangible KPIs, it's something that you can read clearly. So don't add a lot of unnecessary KPIs. Just focus on KPIs that really drives. Something that's addressable. Something can convert into something that you want to achieve. Also, as we've mentioned, you need to connect your CRMs into your data management platforms. This will give you more understanding of the customer and what are they doing. Once this is set, you will have real insights. These real insights are good data. And eventually, good data are because they come from good technology stack. So you need to invest in a good technology platform that enables you to ensure that your data is up to date and it's clean to utilize in your future experiences for your clients. So now let's discuss about building a bridge between physical and the digital world. I don't know how many of you know what's the difference between web rooming and showrooming. So when we say web rooming, is people who bought in store, but they have done a research offline. online. When we say showrooming, it's actually people who have bought digitally after doing a store research. This information is something interesting for Amazon, for example. We have seen Amazon building a response on the web rooming because they have analyzed and realized people searching offline and buying online. What they have done is they have built Amazon Prime. They have moved their warehouses into cities rather into rural areas. They have introduced easier return policy, and they have also brought physical stores for drop-up and drop-off products. And this is what they have done in Purdue University, for example, where students can drop in and out any product they want, and they can buy it from Amazon, whether it's a sandwich, it's a textbook, or even a Mac. So what they have done is they have leveraged their online presence with their physical presence in the right intent. So they understood what the consumer is looking for, especially when we say about students, and they have married it accordingly. So now we have covered the three main elements. So we have covered the intent, so we understand what the consumer are looking for and what drives them to buy. And we have looked into digital mapping and how can we bridge the gap between physical and online. What we need to keep on doing, as I've discussed initially, the simplification, is we need to ensure that we have continuous improvement. And this continuous improvement is mainly on three aspects. You need to align your priorities. Make sure that you have a clear priority and target that you need to focus on. Also, be willing to change. It's important for you to change quickly and as fast as you can, because this helps you keep in pace with the changes of the customers. Customers are changing too quick. You need to adapt to them very quickly. And most importantly, you need to have a strong feedback. You need always to collect feedback, whether from partners, customers, associates, anyone. This feedback will help you look ahead of the change and really do the change needed. So this brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.